Good evening. I'm Abhushan Gautam, and these are the top stories this hour. Prime Minister KP Oli holds consultation with the no-confidence motion filed by the opposition. Ruling parties to discuss their strategy later in the evening. "21 people from 5 families stranded due to landslide in Tapejung's Soul team in Tapethok VDC. Mahakali River breaches embankments in Kanchanpur's Bhujala region. Thousands of supporters of Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan gather in Istanbul to celebrate the crushing of an attempted military coup overnight. And Mark Cavendish wins the 14th stage of the Tour de France, his 4th win in this rally. Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli is holding consultations with legal experts on ways to deal with the no-confidence motion filed by the opposition parties, Nepali Congress and the Maoist Centre. According to Prime Minister's press advisor Pramod Dahal, Prime Minister Oli called on the legal experts at the PM's residence in Bolatar earlier today. They discussed the no-confidence vote and legal and constitutional provisions associated with it. The ruling parties are expected to meet again this evening to decide on a strategy to face the no-confidence motion in the parliament. Now, earlier yesterday, the opposition parties also held consultations with legal experts. They had concluded that there would be no legal impediment associated with the formation of the new government. And it's now time for our segment, Public Pulse, where USMS asks your opinion. Now, the question is, why has debate arisen over the legal proceedings of the change in government? Options are A, party interests, B, undemocratic practice, and C, unclear constitution. The voting for that question is on. Type NEWS, select your option A, B or C and send it to 8080 to share your opinion with us. 21 people belonging to 6 different families have been stranded due to a landslide in Tapejung's Soul team in Tapethok VDC. According to Deputy Superintendent of Police Ram Bahadur Kesi, the police rescue team has not been able to reach Soul team due to numerous landslides along the way. A local businessman, Gyabu Sherpa, who went along with another youth rescue team, said that the flooding in Gunsa River had swept away bridges and washed away most of the trails. Similarly, Chief District Officer Chakrapani Pandey said that numerous landslides along the way had hampered rescue efforts. Soltim is 1.5 days walk away from the district headquarters, Phungling. Flood and landslide victims of Tatopani region of Sindhu Palchok have demanded the government to manage their resettlement. Speaking at an interaction on the campaign to conserve Bhute-Kushi-Sunkoshi corridor, the participants meet their demand to this effect. They expressed their outrage towards the government for turning a deaf ear to their tragedy despite the passage of many months since the flood and landslide. They have urged the government to repair and reconstruct the damaged Kodari highway and also resume operation at Tatopani port. Floods and landslides have affected around 10 kilometers region between Tatopani, Sindhu Palchok to Sukute. The victims have demanded compensation, saying that the Bhotakoshi Dam had also affected Tatopani area. Meanwhile, floods in Mahakali River have started breaching the embankments in Kanchanpur's Bhujala region, causing panic among locals. Floods in Mahakali River have swept away the embankment in Kanchanpur's Bhujala region in Bhimdatta Municipality 11 that was built some 3 years ago. The flood has also washed away the netted boulders placed along with the spur and embankment. Locals claim that the villages risk being flooded soon as the main spurs have started crumbling down with the flood. Due to alarming rise in water levels of Mahakali River, transport along the Sharda barrage on the Indian side of the border has also been halted. Meanwhile, settlements near the banks of Mahakali River in Darchula are also at high risk of being flooded. The locals have been put on alert throughout the day and night to monitor water levels. Transport from Poolghat in Kalanga to Bangabagar has also been obstructed due to the flood. And we'll take a break here for more news. Stay with us. Welcome back. It is Shravan 2 according to Nepali calendar today. Is the day when age-old slavery system of Kamaiya in the West Nepal was put to an end. Despite the lapse of nearly a decade and a half, many Kamaiyas are yet to be resettled. The government had freed 32,500 Kamaiyas from Dang, Banke, Bardia, Kailali and Kanchanpur on July 17, 2000. After declaring the system as illegal. The government had made arrangements for resettlement of Kamaiyas in Dang, Banke and Kanchanpur. However, 1,378 families in Kailali and 211 families in Bardia are yet to be resettled. Of those who remain to be resettled, some are living in government land, while many of them are compelled to live in a tough life near forests. They have demanded that the land they are using right now should be under their name. Meanwhile, despite the government's allocation of 200,000 rupees for purchase of land and 155,000 rupees for construction of houses, the Kamaiyas have refused to receive the amount, saying it is too less. Because of this, the amount freezes every year. They have demanded with the government for arrangement of permanent residence, as they are still compelled to live a difficult life despite the 16 years since their freedom from the slavery system. Now, Honey Guide Trekking App, a mobile application, has been developed targeting native and foreign trekking tourists. The application was developed with the objective of providing complete information regarding trekking and awareing tourists about potential threats and problems, among others. Developer Abhishek Pandey said that the app includes more information than guidebooks. Trekking entrepreneurs are of the opinion that the number of trekkers could increase if they are provided with correct information and notices regarding trekking routes in Nepal. And now international news. Thousands of supporters of Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan gathered in central Istanbul to celebrate the crushing of an attempted military coup overnight. The crowd marched to Taksim Square in downtown Istanbul, waving Turkish flags, honking horns and chanting. Supporters of Erdogan chanted his name, and some were holding pictures of the president. For several hours overnight on Friday, violence shook Turkey's two main cities as the armed faction, which tried to seize power, blocked a bridge in Istanbul and staffed the headquarters of Turkish intelligence and parliament in Ankara. At least 265 people were killed. An official said 161 of them were mostly civilians and police officers, while the remaining 104 were coup supporters. Turkey has so far detained 6,000 people over Friday's failed coup. The sweep has included high-ranking soldiers and judges. Meanwhile, Erdogan has accused exiled Turkish businessman and cleric Fethullah Gulen of orchestrating the violence and is demanding the US extradite him. Gulen, who lives in Pennsylvania, denied any involvement and condemned the coup attempt. Secretary of State John Kerry told his Turkish counterpart in a phone call that Turkey needs to respect due process as it investigates those it believes were involved in the plot. And time now for yet another short break. For more news, stay with us. Mark Cavendish has won the 14th stage of the Tour de France cycle rally. This is his fourth win in the ongoing tournament. The Dimension Data rider finished ahead of Alexander Kristoff by 1 minute and 47 seconds, while Peter Sagan finished third. Cavendish completed the 208.5-kilometer race in 5 hours, 43 minutes and 49 seconds. Yellow-jerseyed Chris Froome, who currently leads the overall rankings, finished third. Now, interest among foreign tourists is increasing as Rio Olympics is only weeks away. Rio has the objective of bringing in around 500,000 tourists and has already sold 7.5 million tickets. Ticket sales has reached its closing phase for the Rio Olympics, which will be held in Brazil from August 5 to 21st. Hosts had publicized the ticket rates and collected revenue on September 16, 2014. A total of 7.5 million tickets have been sold in 3 stages. This number is less than that of London Olympics 2012 by 200,000. The ticket prices ranged from 40 to 4,600 Brazilian dollars. Now, around 3.8 million tickets were sold at $70. Additional 100,000 tickets will be sold from next week. Tourists will be able to purchase the tickets within July 21st. The hosts, who are yet to complete construction of infrastructure for the Olympics, have said that major structures are already complete. And before we wrap up, here is a reminder of the main stories. Prime Minister KP Oli holds consultation with legal experts on ways to deal with the no-confidence motion filed by the opposition. Ruling parties to discuss their strategy later in the evening. 21 people from 5 families stranded due to landslide in Paplejong's Soltin in Papetok VDC. Mahakali River breaches embankments in Kanchanpur's Bhuchala region. Thousands of supporters of Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan gathered in Istanbul to celebrate the crushing of an attempted military coup overnight. And Mark Cavendish wins the 14th stage of the Tour de France rally, his 4th win in the tournament. And that's all for the moment. We'll be back with news in English at 10:30 in the evening. Keep watching Kantipur Television. Goodbye.